Just when I think I'm done, y'all pull me back in. What it is, man, Big Mike, Almighty Triple XL, coming at y'all live and direct, Max City Limits Radio Show. Visit me at www.patreon.com backslash or slash Max City Limits. Brain cramp, man. Yes, www.patreon.com slash Max City Limits. For things more philosophical, more cerebral, yeah, a little bit more deep than what is allowed out here in the free section of YouTube, man. Yeah, visit my Patreon, man. Think you'll enjoy it. And not to mention, and also be warned that, it's kind of like Playboy in a sense where I am a man, I am a male, so you're going to see women posted on my joint, man, of my past exploits and escapades through the streets or in the streets or in the Midwest streets, man, when I was a pimp, trick, pornographer, all that, man. So be warned, that is in there as well. But let's get to the topic at hand. Uh, me walking these YouTube streets and listening to the scuttlebutt, having my ear to the ground. Um, your girl done kicked up dust again. Your girl Cynthia G. Cats is asking me, cats have always asked me what I thought about Homegirl, man, because I've never really been too vocal about some of the stuff she said. But truth is, like I said, I don't give these females that much credit, man, as far as getting under my skin, man. Broads don't typically get under my skin because I don't typically listen to what broads got to say. I'm just be honest with y'all, man. But in this instance, in this situation, right, because she done kicked up a lot of dust with her latest tirade about aborting black male babies. She's basically going around saying that, we should commit genocide on black people, black folks, right? Oddly enough, this is coming from a so-called pro-black, a B1 network individual. It's like, come on, man. Like, what kind of low IQ do you have to follow a female who claims to be black first and black power, Ungawa, but in the same breath advocates genocide, eliminating black boys in the womb? Yes, Margaret Sanger style. Margaret Sanger, one of the I think she was like the executive director or president of Planned Parenthood, where she basically advocated for uh, just yeah, wanting all out wholesale slaughter on black babies, man, through abortion, bruh. And here we got Cyn G advocating it, bruh. I'm like, okay. Yeah, it just goes to show you that, especially when it comes, people in general, but black folks are especially guilty of this because black people are the least logical of all the races. We're the most emotional, we're the most creative, but we are the least logical, the least analytical, uh, the least likely to connect the dots, unfortunately. But yeah, her followers have followed that line, hook, line, and sinker, man. Now we got this big ruckus about there was someone who was advocating actually hunting her down and doing something awful to her in a physical sense. And might I add that Big Mike does not advocate that. No, I do not. If you can't compete with anyone in the square or in the arena on a mental level, especially on YouTube, yeah, man, just bow out, man. Just get out the game. No, it doesn't have to deteriorate or degrade into something physical. It doesn't have to get to that point, man. But yeah, cats have been asking me about that shit, man. I don't rock with that, man. I don't really pay no attention to her. She's a goofball. She's an idiot, man. Come on, she's an idiot. Two things is going on here. Either she's just doing that just for clicks and views, and she's right because anything that's sensational or that's salacious that ass backwards is bound to get her some views and some clicks, man, because that's a very bold and audacious statement and move to make. Yes, it is. But at the same time, uh, lost my train of thought there. Uh, oh well. Anyway, never mind. I'll probably come back to it little bit later if I do regain my senses and understand or remember what the original thought process was. What the original point I was trying to make. I can't remember. Right. But I don't know, man. Shoot. She's a mixed bag of tricks, man. You know, she says like 85% of the stuff she says is just ridiculous. And then you got another what we call 15%, is it? That does make sense every now and then. But the main thing that she did actually say, or she has basically said throughout her past tirades that I've always agreed with, that I've always rocked with. And I know some of you brothers gonna get your panties in a bunch about this, man. I understand that uh, even though y'all may agree with 95% of the things that I spit or say, I mean, we are prone to fall out about that 10 to 15% you don't agree with. That's just how niggas rock, man. Niggas, you're so heavily fixated on the things that we don't agree on. You know, you just totally forget about all the majority of the stuff that we do agree on. But just for the sake of argument here, all right, put your thinking caps on. Try and do that. Just put your thinking caps on and don't be emotional. Don't be a bitch about what I'm about to tell you. Yes, there's something I do agree with Cynthia G on. And what would that be? What is it that you agree with Cynthia G on, Big Mike? What is it? The fact that you, black man, have dropped the ball as far as you being a man. Yeah, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be a bitter pill to swallow, and I'm included in this too, man. I bare my soul to my crew on a monthly basis in my Patreon, man, letting them know where I have failed as a man, right? But it is what it is. If you are a failure as a man at something, how are you gonna correct it if you do not acknowledge it, right? So yeah, how can you say that, Big Mike? How can you? Is it not a fact? Is it not obvious that you have been conquered and subjugated by another race, by another group of men, and not just the Caucasian? Everybody's coming over here and whooping your ass in all sorts of areas and avenues, man. I mean, did I miss something here? I mean, let's go all the way back right when the slave trade was popping off, getting started. I mean, we could talk about how the African did enslave other Africans, and then those Africans sold the other Africans to Europeans and the Arabs in the slave trade and all. But irregardless of that, man, I mean, you coming over here, getting put on boats, getting put on slave ships, you failed as a man right then and there. What? Yes, you failed as a man. Maybe not you right now, but no, your ancestors, your great, 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 great granddaddy failed as a man to protect the women and the children of that village. And if he had not failed to protect his woman and his child in that village, regardless of how he got on that slave ship, guess what? We wouldn't be here going through this nonsense to this very day, being subjugated and being a subject, being the footstool of other races. It's a bitter pill to swallow, bro. I know, but we can trace it all the way back, right when the slave trade got popping, man, was jumping. Yes, your ancestors failed as men to protect the women and the children of the village. How else did you get on the goddamn slave boat, man? Now, if you would have took the attitude of maybe an Asian, Viet Cong, Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese, whatever, well, hey, it's death before dishonor. You're going to have to kill me before I go on that slave ship. I would rather have me, my progeny, my sons, daughters, and wives beheaded before we get on that motherfucker slave ship. And then we start down the winding road of perpetual slavery through generations. Yeah. hmm And well, I understand. I understand that yes, black men did try to try and circumvent that. They did try and fight, but it didn't work. You failed, man. You did not conquer. You did not stop the slave trade. You did not stop your people from becoming slaves and being subjects to white imperialism. It just, I mean, it is what it is, man. And until you acknowledge that, man, until you see your faults and your flaws, you're never going to be able to get out of this rut that you're in, man, because you think it's all good. You think it's not your fault. That's that's woman thinking. That's the way women think, man. Men don't think like that. If you failed, you failed. If you failed, you failed. But you can't counteract that, man. You can't fix it unless you acknowledge it. That's all I'm asking y'all to do. Just acknowledge it. Yes, you failed as a group, as a whole. Understand this. We playing by the pimp rules here. Okay. Now keep in mind that the whole pimp lifestyle is a little bit passe and it's disturbing and pretty much disgusting to me these days, man. You live and you learn and you grow. I have seen the damage that this lifestyle does. Not just the women who participate in it, but also the men who participate in it, and most assuredly, the children who are, like I said, subject to watching their mothers go through this thing with the pimping, right? So, but yet and still, pimp rules still apply. And not only do the pimp rules still apply, military rules coincide with the pimp rules, which is the maximum effective range of an excuse is 0 meters. And look, no matter what happens to you in life, black man, it is your fault. No matter what happens, it is your fault. And yes, the woman is up under that umbrella as well. If your woman is out of pocket, guess what? Y'all don't want to deal with this. It's your fault. Once again, this goes back to the military as well. No matter what happens in the theater of war, no matter what happens in the theater of battle, man, if you have failed in your mission, it is your fault. You can't blame the broad. You can't blame the childrens. It's on you, black man. This goes far beyond race right about now. Really, it's really a gender thing, man. But especially black folk, black men, you really have to get a bite of this wisdom, man, because check it. Look, you failed as a collective, right? Back in the day from stopping the onslaught of white imperialism. And you're doing the same thing right now. You're doing the same thing right now. We have a situation on YouTube where, bruh, we have some of the most draconian measures being put out there for you to follow, being forced to follow through the politics, through the politics, and through this so-called pandemic. I go more in depth about that sort of information, man. But yeah, all we want to talk about, right, is vaginal and penis politics. That seems to be the only thing that the mind of the Negro can comprehend and grasp these days. Yeah. Mm. Instead of us learning the 48 laws of power, 33 strategies of war, the art of seduction, um, Niccolo Machiavelli, The Art of Worldly Wisdom, written by Jesuit priesthood, Sun Tzu's Art of War. Instead of black men sitting down and speaking on these things, teaching on these things, so that the next time tyranny rears its ugly head and you're supposed to be walked down this road of enslavement, you know how to recognize it. You know how to circumvent it. You know how to defeat it. But no, we're steadily talking about how can I get ass? How can I want to get some ass, man? How can someone teach me how to get some ass? Like, bruh, really? Bruh, I understand it. I like to get it in. You know what I mean? But there's just a little bit more to life than just getting some play. But we don't have black men in mass teaching that, and for the most part, I understand why a lot of brothers have washed their hands of actually trying to teach things of that nature. Because as a collective, black men, black people as a whole, really are not interested in learning these things. I understand that, but yet and still, that falls right back in line, still with the very concept that black men, you have failed your nation because you're not interested in the proper things to keep your ass out of hot water. All you are interested in is dick and pussy politics. That's all. So when Cynthia G gets up here, and it just disgusts me to say that, yeah, she's right on that. Yeah, she's right on that. Black man, you have dropped the ball. You have not set up the proper measures, man, to keep your race, to keep your neighborhood, to keep your community out of hot water, man. And also put in, uh, also put up measures to keep your woman in pocket. Your woman is not going to stay in pocket, man, if you are seen as the weakest link. It's just that simple, man. I mean, if I try and talk about it in a collective, you may not understand it. But if I speak on it on a one on one situation with a woman, maybe you'll understand it. Maybe if I talk about you and I talk about your chick, right? And your chick is acting out of pocket and she's not, giving you this sort of love and respect you feel you deserve, right? And you still claiming her as your chick, but every time you want that love and respect, it somehow gets subverted because there's someone else. There's another man on the periphery, irregardless of color, and he just outproduces you, right? I mean, he's a little bit more fit, more trim than you. Like I said, he got the skills to pay the bills. He tells her ass no on a regular when he feels that she don't deserve this, that, and the third. I mean, you are the exact opposite of strength. She sees this guy as strong. He has an appropriate stroke game. He puts it down in the bed. He's got six figures in the bank. You know what I'm saying? He basically looks her in the face and tells her to go fuck herself on a regular basis, right? And you're the exact opposite of that. But yet and still, you want this woman to see you as a man. And that's basically what's going on here with Cynthia G telling you that black man you don't drop the ball because you got a white man on the scene who's pretty much beating you in every dynamic, in every statistic, in every metric. I know. Big Mike, you've been betraying us. Whatever, man. Like I said, it's pimp military rules, man. The military, no losses, no excuses are being entertained here, man. It is what it is. Either you win or you lose. There ain't no in between. And if you did lose, you have to understand and you have to find out why you lost. And how do we do that? It starts with self-reflection. Starts with self-reflection, man. Yeah, I'm stepping on a landmine here, knowing and understanding that the general maturity level of the majority of you cats, man, it's not very high. It just isn't, man. It is not. And like I said, I put myself in this category as well. There's a lot of stuff that I should have been doing as a man that would have made things turn out a lot better for future generations to come, through my seeds. And I dropped the ball on it, man. Part of that is because I wasn't shown, or I was not educated in the ways of doing that. But yet, still, that's still no excuse. You do have common sense. You do have libraries and Google. You have things out there that you could use to educate yourself in the ways of the world to make sure that your future seeds is all right, man. But once again, I was more concerned with being a pimp and getting my Johnson entertained. I was more interested in the hedonistic lifestyle. Yeah. Even though, like I said, when it comes to actually taking care of my business, I was better at it than most brothers. There's no doubt about that. But it could have been better. I could have done better, man. I could have done better. Mm. But yeah, as a whole, Cynthia G, she's I don't know, she's just a brilliant marketing strategist, or she just really sick in the head, man. Yeah. She's either a chick that's got some serious, serious daddy issues, bruh, or she understands that things are getting a little stale around here, and we need something else to kick up some dust to get some more BS started, so I can make some more money, or excuse me, so that she can make some more money, man. And yeah, her followers, they gonna rock with it, man, because it's all about a cult of personality. It's not really about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and common sense, things that you can actually use in real life to get ahead, man. It's all about, just entertainment, just like the church. Entertainment. There's nothing in the church, and there's nothing pretty much on YouTube that you can pretty much use to get ahead in life, because Negroes pretty much want to be entertained. The things that entertain you get the most rep, get the most pull. The things that entertain you get the most attention. It's not really about learning anything, man. It's really not. And it's definitely not about holding yourself accountable. The whole concept of accountability. Oh, black folks, they don't love accountability. Right. The worst being the black female. But as a collective, as a whole, black folks don't want to hear that shit, man. They just want to be entertained. So yeah, I do wholeheartedly agree with that concept right there, man. That black folks, that black men have dropped the ball. They have failed their women and their children as a man, as a warrior class, to defend their women and their children, especially when the women deserve to be defended. Not so much today. I can understand why, brothers will say, man, I'm not busting a grape for these scalawags. I can understand. But yet and still we had the concept of sacrifice. None of this is going to change unless you sacrifice, black man. The women are not going to sacrifice. Why? Because they've got it made. The social engineers have seen to it that, bruh, you don't have any more helpmeets. At least not in the overall collective. You're going to find a few here and there, but for the most part, the social engineers have seen that you're always going to be at odds with this woman because she has been elevated to God status in the neighborhood or in your community. And then we see the social engineering about the feminism, the feminist nonsense is going on. Women are the bestest and the brightest, and they can't do. Don't get me started on that. I've already done a show on that previously. But like I said, this is the pimp rules, and this is military rules, man. The maximum effective excuse is 0 meters. It just won't fly. And if your woman is out of pocket, no matter how you want to slice it, if it's your woman, right? If it's women in your community, if it's women of your race, and if she's out of pocket, and if she's rocking with men of another race, bro, that's you. That's your fault. Pimp rules, man. That's you. You have to change that. You have to put in the blood, the sweat, and the tears, and the sacrifice to turn that around. Women are not going to sign up for that. Women are selfish creatures. All they want is comfort. That's all they want. They want to be taken care of. And if you're not going to do it, they're going to find someone else who will. But once again, what would Jesus do, right? A lot of you so called Christians out there, y'all fail to realize that the answer has been right in front of your face the whole time. Jesus, what? Yes, he sacrificed himself. He laid himself on the cross. Why? For salvation. Not for his sake, but for his nation, for the lost sheep of Israel. But yet and still, we have individuals out here who can claim to be Hebrew Israelites who don't understand that. Yes, black man, if you are going to turn this around, you must sacrifice. What is that? Yes, you may get the blunt of the abuse. You may end up dead in an old folks' home with not a pot to piss in. That may happen, but man, I hate to say it, man. A lot of us are going to have to, bite the bullet, man, to turn this around, man. And the modern day black man is definitely not willing to sacrifice, not for these broads. And I understand, I get it. But you're gonna have to pick your poison. You're gonna have to pick your camp, man. Either you want to turn this around or you don't. Either you want to, just go through life just getting blowjobs and sloppy toppy and just, like I said, live a hedonist lifestyle, or you want to turn this thing around. Pick your poison. What do you want to do? How do you want to do this? And the only thing that's going to work is if black men step up to the plate and do what needs to be done. And this will require sacrifice to turn this whole thing around. You're going to have to sit down and mentor. You're going to have to sit down and each one teach one. You're going to have to, unfortunately, I know you don't have a lot of channels out there that's preaching and teaching on real things that matter in society, man. Like I said, 33 strategies of war, art of seduction, 48 laws of power, Sun Tzu's art of war. These are very important things, brushing up on your economics. And that was a big thing that I was just totally ignorant on. A lot of economic stuff, because money has just never really been that important to me, to be honest. I mean, you got to have it to live, but money has never really been my focus in life, man. I'm more so a philosopher, man. I know I've crushed some feelings here, man, because once again, moderate channels, anyone who has a moderate way of thinking is, he's the bad guy. He's the boogeyman on this joint, man. Yeah. I've made zero friends with this video because here on YouTube, either you hate something or you love it. There's really no in between. So me stating that, for the most part, I find Cynthia G to be a joke. And she's comedy to me. The broad is funny. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I would throw her 100 to hit it. Yeah, I'd do that. I, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's how serious I take her. Here, take this C note, baby. You know what I'm saying? Let's have a little bit of fun. I know you could use it because I know you got issues with your baby daddy and whatnot, so you ain't too loyal. You dig? But yet and still, I understand that. Like I said, me giving her props on that one point is really going to put you Negroes panties in a bunch as well, man. You know what I mean? So you can't really, you're not gonna please everybody by actually being moderate and being 100. The best way to do these things, I should have come on here and be like, yeah, man, fuck that bitch, man. That bitch ain't shit, man. Fuck that bitch, man. And just, throw the baby out with the bathwater. But she did actually say one thing that was very important and very true. Black man, you dropped the goddamn ball, man. You dropped it. You dropped it, son. Come on, man. Get out your feelings, man. You dropped it. Shit. Oh, and we dropping the ball again today. I like I said, I can prove it right now because right now we're going through the exact same thing we went through back then. Right now we're going through a mass um propaganda smear campaign against liberty and freedom. I know that sounds corny to y'all because y'all think that's these are white things, these are white concepts, right? But these are things that's going to land your ass right behind the eight ball once again, lock, stock, and barrel, back in chains with this medical martial law. Mm. But all y'all thinking about is how to get laid. Once again, black man, you are dropping the ball. You should be teaching other things, regardless of how popular it is. Because that very remnant, that small remnant that does listen, those are going to be the people that count. Those are going to be the people that actually count in the long run, man. The each one teach one concept is real, man. You don't necessarily have to have the whole populace of black folks resurrected. You don't necessarily have to have that, man. If you can get a good 15, 20%, which, man, that's even a lot. The Islamic sect, man, other 5%ers will tell you that. More so, 5% of the individuals out here who really are really, it's really only 5% of individuals out here who are actually really capable of hearing what is true and moving on it, bro. Like I said, if I say 15 to 20%, man, I'm being super generous. But, bro, I don't know what to say, man. Yeah, Cynthia G is she's down with Planned Parenthood. She's down with Margaret Sanger. She is down for that genocide move, man, to abort black male babies. Yeah. hmm But you got her whole squad, her whole crew down with that, right? It's like there's enough dumb shit to go around on both sides, man. On both sides, man. Pretty sure I'm gonna hear it from both sides. Gonna hear from Cynthia G fangirls. Heaven forbid fanboys. I don't know what that's about. And then, of course, I'm going to hear from the typical red pill cat man who's they just don't really understand the concept of the pimp rules or military law. And in the military, excuses are not permitted, man. Either you win or you lose. And if you lose, guess what? Who you going to point to? Who you going to point to? Who you going to blame? Yeah, man. If you are in a situation where you got a female who just she not feeling you, she not digging you, and she's showing you on a consistent basis that you just not that nigga. Why is that? Because there's another nigga around the corner, man, that she actually feels measures up. That's all that is. So what do you got to do? You got to get your weight up, man. That's it's just as simple as that. That's how women operate, man. You sitting around whining and crying about the shit, man. It's not going to help. Acknowledge what's going on. See what's going on before you, bruh. Well, anyway, that's Big Mike's spill on it, man. The almighty Triple XL coming at y'all live and direct, Max City Limits Radio Show. One love to the crew, man. I've seen that things are dwindled down over here, man. You know what I mean? But I understand that because I can't feed my crew bullshit, man. I can't do it, man. Can't hit y'all with no Wendy Williams bullshit, man. Where we speaking on all sorts of folks in pop culture doing all sorts of ignorant nigga shit, man. Can't do it, man. And I just can't be sitting up on here just bashing broads, man, just for the sake of bashing them. No. And I'm definitely not gonna sit up here and tell y'all that everything that you brothers do is cool and copacetic. We ain't gonna do that either, man. I'm gonna hit y'all straight lace, no chase, with things how I see it, man. And if that means I gotta have 10 listeners that rock with me, then it is what it is, man. Well, anyway, Big Mike, Almighty Triple XL, coming at y'all live at the Reg Max City Limits Radio Show, man. Holla at your boy, man. I'm out.